we go. That thing only played once. I thought it was on a repeat. Huh. Sorry about that. I was getting my coffee warmed up and ready to go. Now I'm going to share this out. Let me go ahead and okay. We got some people coming in here. Welcome, welcome. I see we got Roy in here. We got Mr. Brown. Good morning. Why is this not showing me? Okay. I want to see the full size. So, okay. Overlay. Boom. Okay, there we go. Now I've got it the way I'd like to see it. Excuse me, I've been fighting a cough the last several days. Can you guys hear me okay? It looks like you can. So, why is that? There we go. A little bit better centered. Okay, we'll share to there, share to there, share to there. Is there anywhere else? Oh, share to that. So yeah, I keep clearing my throat because it's the cough. 5 out of 5. Good. Glad to hear that. Man, I got more people following me on X. I don't know what it's. Maybe I'm just getting to that point where I have so many followers now that more people see my stuff. But on X, I've added like 200 followers in the last 3 days. It's been pretty crazy. Delete that. Delete. Anything you guys want to talk about this morning? I don't have too much. There's nothing prepared. Just me drinking my coffee. Just talking about whatever. So, if you're looking for a structured show today, you're definitely not going to get it. I need to share this to the Veteran Nation group. There, I'll share to the dysfunctional veterans. That's a group. Veterans helping veterans. I'll share to there if they care to have it. Anything big going on in your worlds? I've been watching the news. Did I see the opening ceremony of the Olympics? I did not watch it live. A lot of stuff that people try to get me to watch live, I don't really watch live. A lot of it, I will catch the highlights of later. And I did catch the highlights of the thing, after the fact. So I did watch, what people were talking about. So it was a lot to talk about. But I was expecting weird stuff from the French. The French fancy themselves as artists, and yeah, I was expecting a weird opening ceremony, because that's what art is just weird people and weird stuff. So it met my expectations. There we go, Better Nation finally coming up. And then I will also share to, there we go. See, the more and more people are like, oh, make sure you share this here. I want to see your stream. It just gives me more things that I've got to do while I'm setting things up. I only watch the highlights. I won't be watching the Olympics. Honestly, the Olympic Games have sucked for a while. To be honest, they've just sucked for a while. nothing that has been an important thing for me to watch in quite some time. So that's my take on it. uh, I the only thing I do enjoy watching from the Olympics anymore is I do enjoy the in the Winter Olympics curling. In fact, I wish I knew of some place where I could go to learn like how to be on a curling team and all that stuff. I spent yesterday morning being robbed by the New Mexico DMV. Found out that a field office cannot transfer a permanent DV plate, so I had to purchase a regular plate until the Veterans Commission processes. You know, that's I qualify for their special plates they have here in California, and I don't know if it's even worth it. You know, because I don't believe they're discounted. So I'm like, well, you know, what are you offering me then? Just a, oh, I see we got Kevin in here. So if you're not discounting my plates, what are you really doing for me? You're putting a little thing that denotes that I'm a veteran. Um, yeah, I don't know if I really care, you know? And are you going to charge me extra for that? Is the next question. So, yeah, when they try to push these things, like everybody here in California, they all love uh, their uh, vanity plates. I don't care about vanity plates at all. Like, it's not a big deal. In fact, if I were to get vanity plates, mine would be like 0808800 or 1I because that way, if someone's trying to take my plate down, I want it something hard for them to remember, or something they can easily screw up if they write it down incorrectly. So that's my thought process on it. Because if you have like "I heart my kids" on your license plate, that's going to be super easy for people to be like, "Oh yeah, this guy cut me off and was doing all this stuff." Um, so that's the way I approach it. I know people will not agree, and that's okay. We don't have to agree. We do not have to agree. My DV plate registration are free, and our plate to owner. Yeah, I got to look into that because I only got my 100%. Um, let's see, I got my 100% disability in October, so you know that made me qualify for all this stuff. And that's the VA. This is where I get in it with other veterans. The VA incentivizes people to keep making claims to get that 100% disability because they tie so many benefits to 100% disability. You realize if you don't want, like the VA, if you don't want people making, fake claims or trying to game the system and stuff, stop putting everything at 100%. Put it at 50%, and you'll see people get their 50% and be like, yeah, I really don't care about the money. So my dad said there was a story coming out on Fox tomorrow at 10 about the VA. A whistleblower and a man reported. Call me when you get finished with this. Okay, yeah, I will. Hey, good morning, Heather. Good to see you. Good to see you. This thing has not been telling me how many people are on. Hold on, I gotta move out of there. It has not been telling me. Yes, see, it's not giving me stats for Twitter, so I'm gonna have to watch Twitter and see what my stats are for Twitter. So, because the other day I did this stream and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's not a lot of people here, but it turned out it says I've got 19 people on Twitter here right now. And if you're watching, hit the like, share, subscribe, retweet, all that stuff. Help me get it out here. So, I got to figure out why it's not giving me my stats. I've got the whole thing with my premium all figured out. It now is giving me, like, I can go live on Twitter again. So we fixed that. We were only down less than a week. I think it was 5 days. But yeah, and I'm learning more about Restream. Like I am gonna move some of this stuff around. You see, you got Veteran Nation Foundation. I'm gonna move all that, or I'm sorry, I'm gonna move it all this way. So then when I have the chat overlay, you guys can see all that. Just some of my housekeeping I'm gonna be doing later on today. Oh, you gonna come now? You gonna come on stream? I have Glory here. Good morning. Yeah. She's been all cuddly. All cuddly. Lazy. She's been lazy. We've been going in to work, into the office, and she gets to see all the Marines and gets loved on. And now that she's been groomed, she looks a lot better. I've been rated 100% for my medical retirement for loss of use of bull flags, so the other stuff I got ratings doesn't really add anything for me. So, you know, I have another fan of the show who's in a very similar position, Roy, sorry. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's just ridiculous. Are you getting this? Let me ask you this, because I would guess that you're in a wheelchair or you're using prosthetics. Are you getting your civilian clothing allowance? Because there's a lot of people who don't realize that that's a benefit out there. So I just want to make sure you're getting everything that you rate. And in fact, I'm going to send this to a friend of mine. He might want to join on this stream. He used to be a commander at a VFW, and he's very knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff. So there, I'm sending him that. I'm asking if he wants to come on as a guest. But even if he comes in to the if he comes into the chat, then he can answer questions a lot better than I can. I have knowledge, but I've learned from smarter people, and he definitely has a lot more knowledge than me. Wheelchair, get an annual clothing allowance, and VA adaptive housing grant. Good. Do you have? And I'm going to be talking with Roy, folks, but this is all things that veterans can learn from. So don't think I'm ignoring you. Roy, do you have a caregiver, a civilian caregiver? Because that's another thing. Okay, he can't. Oh yeah, I got to leave out too. Okay. So he can't come on stream because he's building a pond. Oh my god, I love veterans because we do all this weird stuff. Like every time I talk to veterans, like I'll be like, hey, like with him, I talked to him one day and he's like, I'm building this thing in my backyard. We got 21 people on Twitter right now. So thank you all of you for joining. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave me your comments. He's building this backyard barbecue thing, and he's looking to do his own. You know, here in California, the food trucks are a big thing. So he's looking to do his own barbecue food truck, which I think is great. I think every veteran, if you can, should be a business owner. And Roy, even you can be a business owner, even if you're on SSDI. So, and this is, I had a veteran reach out to me, and because I'm really starting to learn some of these things, much more in depth than what I know. Because there's things I know, and there's things that I'm like, look, I don't know as much, and I'll refer you to people who definitely have better knowledge. Good morning to Veterans Affairs Media. Good guy right there. Follow his channel. Subscribe to his channel on YouTube if you can. So I'm starting to learn some of this stuff. And yeah, if you're on SSDI and 100% VA disability, which you can if you're 100% VA anyway, you get to you get to own your own business. You can own your own business, and you are limited as to how much money you can make as income. But here's the key about a business. If all the money's going back into that business, you then can use that money to pay for things that are related business expenses. And here's what I mean. Things like your car payment. You use your car for your business. Yeah, you can at least put a portion of that on your car payment. Any money you make from your business. If you have a cell phone, internet, and you use those for your business, you're better off putting those in your business's name and just using them, as part of your personal thing. Just make sure that it's primarily a business use. But again, how does the IRS know about these things? They can't prove how much you use your internet for business and personal. So it really comes down to you. So yeah, absolutely every veteran should be starting their own business, at least an LLC or a Schedule C. And so it's a great way to get more money. And for like someone like Roy, there are, they consider my wife a caregiver. Your wife, okay, Roy, your wife can get paid for being your caregiver. You have, I get full SSD, not SSDI, because I was considered permanent with no chance of improvement during my, okay, that makes sense. But, okay, so you're on a fixed income. Your wife can get off of this cat. Get off. Hey, get off there. Where's my spray bottle? Get off my couch. Why is my spray bottle not working? The cat was... I'll have to buy a new spray bottle, I guess. But, so you can keep all that money in your business account, but use it for things that, is co-use of personal and business. So that's a way to, then you still will keep more of your disability money for living costs. But for you, Roy, your wife can be considered a civilian caregiver. She can get paid something like $1,300 a month that the VA will pay her because she has to help get you dressed. She has to help get you to your appointments. You rely on her for a standard of care. Now, getting that approved, I would talk to a VSO. I am not the greatest person at that, but I do know it's out there. I do know there are ways to do it. A friend of mine was putting me as her caregiver. It was not approved, but she didn't have, she's got disabilities, but not the type that you have. Like her, primarily mental. Someone I've had to talk off the ledge a couple times, had to, take to some appointments and stuff like that. And that's why we put in for it, but we may have screwed it up. I get that cat a good scratching post. No, he's actually right now in his, I got him one of those little houses with the cardboard thing. He's in there scratching right now. And it's actually kind of cute. Here, let me see if I can turn this for you. So there he is in there. So he's got stuff to scratch on. He's just being a jerk. And as you can see, they've made a mess with all their toys. So now I got to clean all that up today. These damn animals. They're lucky I love them. They are lucky that I love them. And now this thing is going to be a pain and not want to sit the way that I want it to sit. There we go. Stay. There we go. Yeah, see, this is... Excuse me. Sorry about the cough. This is what I'm talking about. I got 27 people on X watching and just a few on the others. So everyone... my things are coming in on my thing. I'm not seeing my Twitter analytics. So everyone, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for being here. My wife gets paid as my caregiver through Caregiver Support Program. Yeah, okay. So a veteran, a fair media, he could probably answer some of those questions a little bit more. I've got a question. If I'm not legally divorced from someone with a VA disability benefits, am I still available to have the access to the different benefits too? So, okay, as far as monetary benefits like the VA disability, no, you will not have any access to that because you uh, that's for disability and you are not disabled. However, there are benefits you could be available to. If they have not divorced you, um, they're probably getting money for you as a dependent. It's like $180 um, that you could probably make a claim to. But there's other things like when if they're 100% disabled, they get into things like the national parks and stuff. So those type of benefits, you would you are disabled. Okay, Heather. So you're disabled, but the VA is not paying you for your disability. That's what I mean. Like you don't qualify for VA disability money, so you're not going to get any of that money. Now, whatever money he gets for you as a dependent, if they're claiming you as a dependent, you could say, look, if as long as you're claiming me as a dependent, you're shooting me that money. So, and the thing is, you'll never know unless if you try to like subpoena stuff from the VA, which that could be difficult. Uh, my wife can't get caregiver money because my claim is not post 9/11. I fall into a period that's pre 9/11 and post Vietnam era. So, okay, Roy, what you should be doing is talking to your uh, congressperson because we need to get some of these changes made. And what the hell difference does it make? You served. This is where I get so freaking frustrated with our politicians. Why are these veterans being treated differently? There should be nothing different about any of this. So they should give you access to the same things I have access to. Our service, it's no different. But yet you get these politicians, and this is where, and it's not a Republican or Democrat thing. They all do it. They play these games because they want to, and the same thing with the IRS. We're going to carve out an exception for these guys. Well, when you do that, you're creating loopholes, and loopholes get exploited. Good morning, Richardson. We gotta coordinate, get you on the show. Make sure you email me, veterannation@protonmail.com. Because we want to schedule that. I on Rumble, I put up where I interviewed a couple years ago a World War II veteran. He has since passed. He was in his 90s. He was coming up on 100, but I think he passed at 98 or 99. George Lunsack, great interview. He was a Coast Guard veteran. He was at both D-Day and VJ Day. Exactly why are there different services for different wars? Veterans are veterans. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is just a scheme. That's why they do this stuff. People are like, oh, well, Biden signed the PACT Act and Jon Stewart helped. It's like, yeah, but the PACT Act has expired. So if you didn't apply, guess what? Now you're in a different set of rules. Why are we doing that bullshit? Why are we doing it? It's BS. It's complete and total BS. And it's also these politicians. What they're doing is they're designing it so that we'll correct that later. So then they get 2 wins instead of 1. It's like, dude, all you're doing is screwing us over. Like, yeah, some are helped, some are not helped, and that's not how this should work. I did the 50th anniversary ceremony of the Battle of the Bulge. It's one of my favorite moments in my career. I used to be a big golfer. I'm getting back into it. I quit in 2015. I golfed in Abu Dhabi at a beautiful course, and I was like, you know what? And I had a great round, and I was like, this is kind of the pinnacle. So I kind of walked away from it for a while. But I did golf with a guy who was a veteran of the Battle of the Bulge. And he was a tremendous golfer. He beat me. He was 86 years old and he shot under his age. I'll just say that. And we were like, we were talking as we were going. He's like, you have a really good short game. And it's because my first job was as a caddy. And when other guys were getting selected, what do you do when you're bored? You just go on the putting green and you putt around. So I had a lot of practice from a very young age of putting. And he was like, you've got a really good short game. What you need to do is stop worrying about distance. He goes, so many young guys, you worry about hitting it far. He goes, just worry about hitting it straight. He goes, if you notice, I hit it about 180, 190 off the tee. The next hit shot is normally about 180, 190, and then I chip and putt from there. And he's like, look at me. I'm hitting pars, I'm hitting birdies, and bogeys. He's like, if you focused on that, instead of hitting it far, just hitting it straight, he goes, your game will get a lot better. And you know what? He was absolutely right, and that improved my game when I started just focusing on, I don't care how far I hit it, I'm just going to hit it straight. But he was a great guy. Interesting stories about Battle of Bulge. I can't complain about my VA care. They have made sure that I have everything I need to be independent as possible. Abraham Lincoln was, if he could see what happened to his dream of the VA. Even, well, especially there in, okay, the dogs are going to come in and start playing and fighting. So if this gets knocked down, you know it's the dogs. Especially in LA, where, you know, land was donated in like 1900 for, you know, lots of acres right there at Beverly Hills, prime real estate for soldiers and sailors' home. What has the VA done? They've since leased it to Brentwood and USC. So veterans are not able to take advantage, and we have a ton of homelessness. We need to end those leases and take those dorms and put veterans in them. We need good transient housing. Okay. Here are these dogs. You spill my coffee, you two. I'm going to be mad. Now you're going to knock this over. And there you go. Now you're leaving again. They're like children. They're like children. I'm 100% from the VA. Can my wife qualify for the caregiver program? Yes. Short answer is yes. I am not, like I said, a friend of mine, she actually did all the paperwork and applied for it. We were living together at the time as roommates, and, you know, she was relying on me for things. Good morning, Tommy. She was relying on me for, you know, to help her, you know, because she had issues where, like, I was on a schedule. She wasn't. So, like, if she had appointments, she would, you know, notify me, and I'd make sure, oh, hey, remember today you got this appointment, you got this appointment. If she needed me to drive her to them, I would drive. Because, like, she could drive to some of them, but not all. Okay. Yeah, we're doing this as, okay, yeah, they're starting to wrestle. And they have to do it in the room that I'm in. If I go in the other room, these two dogs are going to follow me. God forbid they just stay in the playroom and play. Also, I just remembered there's a separate program for combat-related injuries. Okay, so someone like Kanu, a Veterans Affairs Media, that's why you should subscribe to his channel so you can reach out to him and ask him more questions, because he knows more about this program than I do. But yeah, we did apply. We didn't have a VSO. I would recommend applying with a VSO, because yeah, they're gonna know. Good note. I told my wife I practically needed him to be invalid. Well, as you see, we've got Kahanu in here. His wife is a caregiver. So, you know, CRSP combat related specialty pay. Yeah, that's another one. I actually have a friend who's retired who's applying for that. I apologize for these two dogs. They're numbskulls. So yeah, there is a program. It's just, I do know it can be a little bit difficult to qualify. You know, I was watching Combat Craig the other day, and everyone, if you're a veteran, you should go onto YouTube and you should subscribe to Combat Craig. There's several people out there who do VA disability stuff, or just do VA in general knowledge. Combat Craig, in my opinion, gives the best knowledge. He's very to the point. Some of these guys are kind of like me, like doing this, but they do it in their videos where they just kind of talk and it's all over the place. Combat Craig does great videos where he's like, boom, chapter. So when you When you're going there and you want to find a specific answer, it's very easy to find. And I don't think he does lives. He only really just does straight videos, which is good to do. This is going to end badly for me. I already can tell. This is craziness. You're supposed to be my service dog. Here's the thing: when she comes home and the vest is off, she's on her off time. I don't have any other than when I'm sleeping. I don't have anything that I need the service dog for. So now she knows. Oh, I can just be a dog. So they're playing right now. There's also concurrent payments for combat-related retirement benefits, so they can collect both military retirement pay and VA disability. Yeah, and combat. There's another combat pay that they can get as well. The VA disability, that when you're a retired military, it's a lower amount. But there's a combat thing that they get, on top of that. So there is money out there. And yeah, there's, and I laugh about these retired military guys who retire, okay? And then they take a government job working for the military where they want to be still in charge, act like they're still in the military. And to me, I've been back on working on a military base since 2018. Once a Marine, always a Marine, but I'm not active duty. You're not going to see me stopping Marines and correcting them. You're not going to see me knife-handing people. And there are these people who do that, and that's actually a really good benefit if you're a veteran. Being able to go into government service, you get all the extra points. You get to claim your time towards retirement. But yeah, these guys who want to be GS 14s and 15s, and it's like, for a lot of these guys, the military already showed them the door. They showed them the door and said, "Here's the door. This is your exit." Some were told, "Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out." Some of those guys were told that, but yet they come back and they still want to be, they still want to be king shit. And the thing is, it's, in many cases, they just kind of look pathetic, in my opinion. Like, with me, what I've done, I went back into safety after the military. And because safety is incredibly rewarding, to save lives before they, even are put in danger, to me, that's rewarding. So I've done a lot in safety, continue to, and I'm actually looking right now, going back for some more certifications. But I don't, I've had Marines who were trouble Marines who were being showed the door, and wanted to know about their stuff. And I was like, look, it's a different animal once you leave. At that point, you're a veteran. No one cares if you were a shitbird. They don't. They care, okay, well, are you going to perform for me? You're a veteran. Cool, you meet the check in the box. So, yeah, some of these guys, it's like, look, I love your stories. You have knowledge to impart, but you're not the military leader anymore. And it's a hard pill for some of these guys to swallow. For my era, I had to give up my military retirement pay to collect VA disability. Yeah, see that. This again shows how they've messed with so many of these different things. Not sure if they still have them at the VA, but I was helped by an OEF coordinator. They helped me sign up for everything. They might still have them. There's also schools who have a lot of people with knowledge like that. My dad did that. He retired, went right back to work on his job in procurement at Sacramento Army Depot. It's a great benefit, and I recommend many too, because we as veterans, we speak a language. And I didn't realize that until I took a civilian job where I was working with nothing but veterans. And I was like, oh, there's some comfort here. Got to run already. Sorry for the short time here. Thanks for all you do. Godspeed, everyone. Thank you, Richardson. As always, good talking with you. Jesus, these two. They're going to break something. You two are going to break something, then I'll be pissed. And you're messing up. You're messing up the rug out there. They each have a toy now. So yesterday was my parents' 49th wedding anniversary, so I want to publicly, I did call them and wish them a happy anniversary, so I want to publicly say happy anniversary. In fact, next year is the Big 50. We're talking about taking a cruise, so we're trying to plan that out. We're not sure exactly what type. We're kind of looking at a Caribbean cruise leaving out of like Fort Lauderdale or Miami. We're not settled on anything yet. Yeah, it's a pretty good milestone, pretty big milestone. So yeah, definitely good for them. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear the squeaking of the toys. This one over here is Lori's got a toy where you can pull out the little things from inside, and that's what she's doing. But this one over here's got the squeaker. Animals. But I don't have anything too big planned today. I'll probably just do some cleaning around the house, do some laundry. Can you guys hear the squeaking? We've got over 50 people in here. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe, wherever you're watching from. Let's see. Do we have anyone? No, our Facebook watchers have left, but that's okay. That's okay. I normally don't. I used to get all my views on Facebook. When it was being pushed out by a couple groups, I'd get like 5,000 people watching, and that was on the show. The structured show. It wasn't structured then. I've since learned so much more about doing this. These are important. Doing these live where it's kind of like a free for all, because you never know. Like with a structured show, you got to keep things moving. With this is where I actually learn things, and you guys bring things to me that I'm like, oh yeah, I should talk about this, or I should, do more research on it. December will be my wife and I's 38th anniversary. Congratulations! That's a big milestone right there. Yeah, congratulations, Roy. I've seen full-blown majors wear their uniforms to the paintball field. Not only is that not allowed while off duty, but a disgrace to the uniform, getting all dirty with paint. Yeah. Some of these guys, the cat is still in his little scratching thing. Why he felt the need to scratch on my couch, I don't know. But he's in his little scratching pen. Yeah, like, I know the show is Veteran Nation. I call myself the skipper. When you guys see me on here, you're seeing a portion of me. You're seeing what I'm showing you. You see my personality, but not all of it. There are things obviously that I can't show because of cancel culture and other stuff. But when there's a reason why I call myself skipper on here. It's because I have to distinguish between the skipper on these lives and Mike Arthur. There is a difference, and like Tommy can tell you, me and Tommy, we have a friendship. We've gone to events together. We've seen each other face to face. So yeah, there's things that I do differently. There are things I do. I amp up for the show. Like I'll say things that I know is going to get a reaction. So I do stuff like that. But being a veteran is not. It's not my personality. I'm not one of these guys who. That's the only thing about me. In fact, if I wanted anything to be known about me, it's that I love being a dad. I love my son. I do a lot of stuff with him. I enjoy spending time with him. And that's, if anyone, if I want to be remembered for anything, it's definitely going to be that. But I have to amp things up for the show. I have to give you kind of a character. So the skipper is kind of a character. It's still me, but it's, I there are things about me, my personality, that I do a little bit more. I'm on my third wife, and we celebrated 6 years. That's a milestone for me. Congratulations. See? Yeah, that's a big one. You need the anti-scratch spray to spray on your couch. It does work. I'll look into that. I've got the clear plastic anti-scratch things, but there's still areas it doesn't cover. That's where he goes to. But this couch is already pretty well worn. This was the first couch I've ever purchased, like on my own decision, and I learned some things. So I'm gonna keep using this one until it absolutely falls apart. But my next couch, I've learned some stuff. The VA won't get fixed until it gets staffed by veterans instead of civilians running critical departments. Honestly, some veterans are part of the problem. I will say that there are some veterans there who've never done anything civilian. It's like this base. This base is being run horribly. Horribly. Let's see. Like, since COVID, things on this base have only shut down. Like, places to eat. There's been one new place to eat, really. Everything else has been just a replacement or just shut down. Now, we're out here in 29 Palms. There's nothing to do here. There's nothing to do here. And they're not coming up with things to do. It's like, if you look at 29 Palms on a map, and this goes all the way back to when I was still active duty, they were putting things on this base, and they were like, this is going to be great. And I'm like, no one's going to use it. Like, they went through this thing where they built all these basketball courts, thinking, oh, yeah, all the Marines are going to want these basketball courts. And the thing is, like, yeah, they put some near the barracks, but they also put some near the exchange. So I'm like, I'm not going to go to the exchange to play basketball. But they're like, then like a couple months later, they're like, no one's using the basketball courts. It's like, it's 1,000,000 degrees out here, and you didn't cover it. It's in the sun. You go to the gyms, guess what? The basketball courts are filled. They're always used. It's in the AC. It's covered. Like, what are you guys thinking? They did the same thing. They put a roller hockey rink. It's out in the elements. Right next to it is a skateboard park. Out in the elements. Cover that crap. Like, and the thing is, it was all civilian, primarily veterans, who came up with these bad ideas. It's hard for me not to call you by your actual name. I don't care if you call me Mikey. That's fine. The VA won't get fixed until it gets staffed by veterans instead of civilians running critical departments. Oh, sorry, I read that one. That invites trouble. Governor of New Mexico kept my state locked down over a year. She allowed big stores like Walmart to open, basically killed mom and pop shops. Yeah, and see, like on base, here's an example. Here in this area, we get tons of tourists, okay? And Joshua Tree. I helped during COVID the VFW because they weren't getting their, they couldn't open their doors really, right? So they were watching their savings dwindle and needed, they were still doing the stuff they have to do, like, the ceremonies and stuff, but they needed money coming in. So, they allowed the farmers market to stay open because that's a big tourist thing and it brings in money to Joshua Tree. So I said, we're right around the corner. Let's do a swap meet. Me and another veteran, a female veteran, she and I worked on this thing. And we got it, and we did a couple of them. They were pulling in like $600. Like the first one, they pulled in $300. The second one, they pulled in more because they were like, oh, we can sell breakfast burritos. And they, because people can't come in to have a meal. So let's just bring breakfast burritos and sell them. And they made money on it. And then, as with every veteran thing, you get this internal politics. Can you come over here? I'm done. Like, I'm trying to focus, dog. You get the internal politics, and people were turning off the female veteran. She didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to do it by myself because it's a big thing. So it just kind of ended, and now they won't go and do that again. But what has happened is other places there in Joshua Tree were like, oh, we can do this. So now the farmers market is there, but there's these other little markets all around town. So this morning, it's every Saturday morning, you get from like till 1 o'clock, you can go into Joshua Tree and there's all these little mom and pop stuff. And, it's now competition. So while before the farmers market, it was one woman who ran it and there was kind of a monopoly, now you don't have that. So now there's more, options. And then 29 Palms, they started their own. Now, if I were on base and I were the commanding general or advising the commanding general, I'd be like, look, this is something that works for this area, okay? Let's do a night market, like a Thursday night market. Palm Springs does, they call it Village Fest. And it's pretty much just a night market. They close the street down, all this stuff. That's what I would do. I would say, let's bring in local vendors. You don't have to make a ton of money on it. $10. $10, you can open up a booth. We'll close down a street on base. You put your tent up, your tables, and then, and here's the big thing. That gets military spouses. A lot of these military spouses who sell Scentsy and who make little crafts. It gives them a way to, first off, kind of have a marketplace instead of having just to advertise online. But that would be, it's nothing for me just to go on the other side of the base, put up a little thing, and also, be like, on the nights where I'm not here, here you go, here's my card. I can provide this stuff. There's no one thinking about this on base because the people on base, a lot of them have never had to make money, so they have no clue how to make money. And the MCCS runs like a mafia. Whether if you're on, if you have a business on base, whether you make money or don't make money, they want their cut. So if you lose money, you're actually losing more because you have to pay them. If you're barely making a profit, you're losing money because you have to pay them. And they want off the top. And it's ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous. They have a monopoly. They know they have a monopoly. And they're going to exploit it. They used to have artwork in my neighborhood that brought lots of money to the community, but people cried gentrification. They lost. That's true. The base should have a better relationship with the community. I totally agree. I live closer to El Paseo than anywhere in New Mexico, so Fort Bliss was pretty much open during COVID, and I just shot back. Don't blame me. I don't blame you. People will find their things. Here's the thing. Retired military are people with disposable income. So I've always said, like here in Southern California, these bases should get together and say, okay, we're going to do, like for golfers, we're going to do a card that when you go to these golf courses, you get a stamp, okay? A stamp, or you get, a punch. And when you've filled up and been to every course, like we'll give you like a plaque or something, right? Because even though it's a stupid thing, it promotes people using your golf courses, which is, it's a money maker for these bases. And I'll tell you, like some of these courses, like you go down to Camp Pendleton, you go down to Coronado, some of these courses, while they're incredibly affordable, they're beautiful as well. They really are. Obviously, here with 29 Palms, it's hard to keep that course looking good. How good this course looks depends on the general who's here. If you have a general who golfs, the course is going to look good. If you have a general who doesn't, it gets neglected. But I had a conversation years ago. These bases, they don't do the smartest things in the world. I had a sergeant major who, this was like 2013. Sam Adams had come to our base, and the staff NCO club was going to be badly needed renovation. They told the base, we will renovate it for you. We will do all this stuff. We'll take all your personnel, we'll bring them out to Massachusetts, and we will make them official Sam Adams pours. We'll teach them about every type of our beer, everything they need to know. and the only thing is, the only thing of doing this is we only want Sam Adams beer in that Staff NCO club, which is fine because they still have liquor. You know, if you don't like Sam Adams beer, okay, yeah, give me a Jack and Coke or something. Punch it out. Have a good one, Tommy. I prefer the base rod and gun clubs over the golf course. But that's a great point, Roy. Those are moneymakers, though. You know, and that's the thing. You need to foster these things. Quantico Rifle Shooting Club, great thing. Like, great thing. And if you're near Quantico, I highly suggest you check it out. The Medal of Honor course on Quantico is also really, really nice. Sam Adams wanted to do all this stuff with the Staff NCO club, and then I happened to be talking with the sergeant major, and he's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "I think it's great." And he goes, "I'm going to tell him no." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "I don't like Sam Adams beer." And I go, "I don't like Sam Adams beer either, but I recognize it's popular amongst Marines, especially Staff NCOs, and it will do really well and probably become the prestigious Staff NCO club throughout the Marine Corps." It never happened because he didn't like Sam Adams beer. That's how we shoot ourselves in the foot. They were renovating the Oak Club, and they called it the Brass and Rocker. So now it's like this mix of staff and officer club, which I think is really stupid. The fact they renovated the bar, I think, is great. But if you want the club system, do the club system. If you don't want it, just get rid of it. What I said was, instead of doing this, you have on this base, 29 Palms, you have the golf courses over near officer housing. I said what they should do. Yeah, he's a Blue Falcon. Absolutely. I said what they should do at the officer club is move it from main side over to the golf course. Like, put a second floor on the golf course, got the downstairs with the restaurant and the pro shop, but second floor should be the officer club, because, look, I was an officer. We think we're special. And by doing that, it makes us feel like, oh, we're in the country club because the officers club, but it's right near officer housing. Like, there were times where I walked. Like, I just grabbed my clubs, I'd walk to the course to go golf. And if you did that, I could walk to the Oak Club for Monday Night Football, for Sunday football, for an event that they had. Like, I could go there, drink, and walk home. There's no chance of, of getting a DUI. And also, I said, you need to make this a golf cart community. Make this area, make it a golf cart. So then I'm driving then I'm incentivized to get my own golf cart and take that onto the course. Have golf cart pathways and stuff. They didn't want to do any of that. And the golf course, it has deteriorated some because, there's just no one there who has the mind to think of these type of things. So, us veterans, like some of these guys who go from the military to these civilian jobs, they're just as bad as people who've been, bureaucrats their whole life. We got Mercedes in here. Good morning, Skipper. How's that sweet dog of yours? She's laying next to me now. They played, so now it's time to sleep. So, yeah, she's laying right down here. Here, if I can tilt this up so you can see her. There she is. So she's out right now. They successfully tore up, the two dogs have successfully tore up my house this morning, so I'm going to have to clean, which I was going to have to clean anyway. Golf course is not really wheelchair friendly, but the new Fort Bliss Rod and Gun Club has made 90% of the ranges ADA accessible. That is awesome. Roy, I'll tell you what, if you can do me a favor and get some footage of that, I would love to highlight that. That's the thing. We need to, as veterans, we need to highlight a lot of these things that are benefits for us. And that's a benefit in general. And I'm the worst because I've got footage I need to do into some videos. Maybe I'll get to that today. But editing does take me a long time. But I do want to show these things and highlight some of these things. I really want to do kind of like a separate maybe eventually I'll do a separate channel, but I'll start it as like probably a separate playlist, or maybe there's another way for me to like do a Veteran Nation travel and benefits type of thing to show like some of these great things that are available to us. Um, we've got 60 people in here. Everyone, please, if you could, like, share, subscribe. The more that you do, the more help I get, which means the more this gets out there, and the more veterans we can help together. Got to feed the cat. Yeah, those kitties, they eat a lot. Mine is he's sitting right down over here. He's inside uh, his little cardboard box, scratching box. Hi, Skipper. I've not been around for a while. Happy to be back. Well, good to have you back. You know, that's you guys all have your lives. I get my life. But you saw when I was well, maybe you didn't see. I was on vacation. I really didn't do much on the channel. I noticed because subscribers. I think I lost like 10 subscribers because I just wasn't posting the way I normally was. But we're back. We're back in the swing of things. We're coming up on an hour of doing this, and we've got 60 people in here. So thank you all. I appreciate you all in here. Any more comments? Any more things you guys want to talk about? I'll tell you some more stories. When it comes to the clubs, I had with that sergeant major that I was talking to about the clubs. He had also asked what my thoughts were for getting people to the clubs, and I said honestly, all you sergeant majors need to give it up. I understand the clubs were big back in your day. However, you all have changed, and it's not the Marines. The young Marines are the same way they were as young Marines 20, 30, 40 years ago. They act the same way. But it's the leadership that has changed. And by that I mean, a little bit more than 20 years ago, getting a DUI would not kill your career. Now, you get a DUI, you are done. Unless if you're a senior officer, which is complete and total bullshit. I saw senior officers get DUIs and still be allowed to stick around, whereas, a corporal gets one, and he's told he's the world's biggest piece of crap, and that's BS. Which, again, I worked in safety. There's no justification ever for a DUI. Okay, but we should not be treating officers, staff, and COs and lower enlisted differently about these things. But so we were talking about the clubs, and I said, you need to give it up. The clubs are dead. I was like, and they're dead because you killed them. You killed them. If the clubs, you used to be 18 and could go in the clubs and drink. And they still legally can do that. It's federal property. The commanding general could say, yeah, I'll let 18-year-olds drink. And I told him, I said, if you really wanted to bring the club back, you do that one night a month, only one night, because that pulls people out that one night. And you tell them, look, I will allow 18-year-olds to drink, but you look at your NCOs, you say, sergeants, corporals, you are the ones to police this. And the moment we have an incident, it's done. And you guys are killing it. And I'll tell you this, they will run things. Those NCOs, they will keep it on lockdown. You don't want to know how they're going to do it. You don't want to know. Don't ask any questions about it, but they will absolutely do it. And that one night a week will get people back into the clubs. That's all it takes. That one night a month. Any advice for someone that gets denied for individual unemployability? Yeah, just keep with your therapist and talk with your therapist about it. Find out if they really truly believe that you're unemployable. I personally don't like the TDIU only because it's not a lot of money. Yeah, you get your 100%, and it's an easy way to get 100%, but it's still not a lot of money. Unless I don't know if you can own your own business if you get TDIU. If you can, then it's a great thing. Then it is very much a great thing. Have been keeping up with Otter Creek Annex. Never a dull day. Yeah, I have been. I'm back, cat-fed. Clubs used to be within walking distance of the barracks in Germany and cheaper than anywhere outpost. That's not true anymore. Oh yeah, yeah. Quantico, when I lived on Quantico, the clubs were way over on another side of base, so you had to drive to it. Like, it, the enlisted club should be right near the barracks. Absolutely, you're 100%. The staff NCO, officer club, and NCO clubs should be near housing because that's where they are, and it should be. Yeah, you should be able to walk to it. You know, like with this base, I had someone approach me about they wanted to do a concert venue kind of thing, right? And I said the only way I would do it is if we could buy it. The land's for sale. There's land right off the base. I said this plot of land, if I can buy that, because people could literally walk off base, go, walk right in this inside, watch some music, have some drinks, and then walk through the gate. And there you, it's not that no one's drinking and driving. Your core customer, you're walking distance. Um, Now I can enjoy my coffee. And so yeah, you're right. And like, yeah, I told this sergeant major, and he didn't like it. But I was like, the clubs are dead, and you guys killed them because PMO sits outside the clubs looking for people leaving, pulling them over because well, you just left the club, so I'm going to assume you're drinking. Who wants to deal with that? And then your career is over. Who wants to deal with that? No one. Now, if you created some type of shuttle system on base, that takes people back and forth, you know, I suggested, I shouldn't, I suggested it after this Marine came to me with the idea. It was a Lance Corporal, a female, like, beautiful idea, genius idea. In fact, had we done it, I was going to give her like an impact NAM or something like that. Had we done it, because this idea was genius. She was like, why don't we have a way for Marines at the barracks to sign up for volunteer hours? Just go up to the duty, be like, hey, I'm going to sign up for 3 hours from this time to this time. I'm available. That if anybody needs a ride home from a bar, you just come to my room, get me. I'll go pick them up and bring them back. But they're volunteering. They're volunteering. They're giving up their time. And I said, we'll do that and keep track of those hours so the Marines who are doing that can get a volunteer service medal. And, it also means the Marines can go out and drink, and even if they want to get a ride to the bar, great, do that. And I said, the only thing I would ask is, can we get the family readiness officer who would get all these gift cards and stuff, can we get some of the gas cards just to replace their gas? Oh, we can't legally do that. And that was 100% BS. When people say we can't legally do that without having asked an attorney, they're just being lazy and they're looking for a way to say no. Because I can't tell you how many times people said to me, you can't legally do that. And guess what? I would go talk with the lawyers and be like, what do I need to make this happen? And they would be like, well, you need to do this, this, and this. And it's a lot of work. That's fine. I'll do the work, but I'm doing it. And we did it. We did it. So, yeah, and they were told, no, we can't do that. But think about how great that you're promoting Marines. First off, it's camaraderie because we're taking care of each other. Two, we're going to cut down those DUIs and hopefully other alcohol-related incidents. Three, it's a way to essentially give out volunteer service medals, and you're against it. Like, I would. That is the one medal that whenever I've given out, like, to me, that's Medal of Honor, Volunteer Service Medal, because it's such a great thing, and that they're giving of themselves to their community, to the military. Like, is that not what we want? But there are people who make the Volunteer Service Medal. They put all these roadblocks in front of it, and I never understood it. You mentioned therapist. My in-law hasn't seen a therapist. Could that be why he got denied? Most likely. Most likely. She has seen a therapist, that therapist, it's going to be in their record. You're going to have a diagnosis, and they'll be able to say, look, this person should, they need more severe care. They need to get to a place where they can be around people. So yeah, that's most likely why it is. My claims were getting denied, and then I went to a therapist, and all of a sudden, then my mental health claims started getting accepted. So there you go. Uh, trying to think, what anything else you guys want to talk about? And you know what's funny is overseas, the overseas clubs allow 18-year-olds to drink. Isn't that funny how that works? You They want recruiting. You There's no incentive right now for young people to join the military. If you made the club said, look, you can drink at the clubs, like you can get 2 drinks at the club, like or at the E club, you get 2. That's it. You're cut off after that. That's an incentive that you can get young people to come in the military, but they're not thinking about this. They're like, oh, it's gonna cause all these things. On the flip side, they wanted every duty armed back in 2013. And, my CO at the time was like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, that's a horrible idea. There's so many requirements that we have to do to arm people. I go, so we're slapping the table, say, let's do more work. And I go, but the big thing is there's more ways for us to screw this up. And I go, and we are going to screw it up. You put weapons in the hands of Marines more often, you're going to get negligent discharges, because a lot of the Marines in our command, we weren't grunts. We weren't used to carrying our weapon all the time. And guess what? I think we went 2 months and suddenly we have a negligent discharge. It's like, yeah, that was going to happen. And yeah. So you got to train your people. And if you just throw them into these situations without training, you're going to get mishaps. He's 80% overall. He just didn't follow through with much. Yep. Yeah, that would be my advice. Get him a therapist. If he's 80%, I would start looking at secondary conditions to what he or she has. I'm assuming it's a man, so yeah. Start looking at what they have for secondary conditions. Go for that 100%. You're almost there. If tinnitus is in there, like I said, tinnitus is 10% condition, but you can claim migraines secondary to tinnitus for an extra 30%. So let's say he's a hard 81%. And when I say hard, it's because you could be at 77% rounded up or 81% rounded down. So if he's a hard 80, he's exactly 80, and you get a 30% condition, I'm trying to think, that's an extra 6%, which brings him up to 85%. So he'd be 86%, round down to 85, or 86%, I'm sorry, round up to 90. So there you go. That's what you're looking for, these secondary conditions at this point. We had tons of organized events in the 1980s in Germany. Bus ran to Volksmarch every weekend, as well as other events. Yeah, that's there's single Marine program. They still do stuff, but it's like one event a month, which can be okay. If any of you guys are ever in Palm Springs, definitely stop into the American Legion right down there in downtown Palm Springs, because that was the old USO hall, and they still have the stage and they still have the radio booth. And Jack Benny and Bob Hope used to do their radio show from that radio booth, because out here was where Patton and the Third Army was training to go for the invasion of North Africa. So you can go in these areas out here, and you can still see remnants of the base. Like there's things like the one they still have the old the altar behind the chapel, the back of the chapel thing where they would put the the candles and whatnot for church services. But they would run buses all over, and whenever they would do a USO dance, they would go to, it's now an American Legion. That's where they would go. So there's a lot of history there, and it's pretty cool. I've recently got them linked up with my local advocate place. We'll see how it goes. I believe you have my number. Feel free to give him my number, and him or her, again, okay, he did say him. Give him my number if he wants to talk through. We can come up with some stuff, and I can give some of my tricks of the trade. Most of my service was overseas in Europe, and boy, was stateside duty different. Yeah, it is. It also depends on where you're at. I think I'm gonna. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. I think I'm gonna go to an hour and 30, and then I gotta get gotta get this place cleaned up. I was watching something with the Haktua girl, and I'm pretty sure her 15 minutes of fame are up. She was at a concert for Jelly Roll and was announcing them, and she got no pops. No one was really cheering. So I think that 15 minutes is up, girl. uh, I found that funny this morning. Any other questions you guys have? You know, I do enjoy spitting out knowledge because knowledge is no good if you're sitting on it. But if you're talking to people about it, passing it along, that's when it's important. Looking here, someone it says someone made a comment on X. I'm not seeing it. Everywhere I was at in Germany has long been closed down. Returned to the German government. Yeah, that is happening with Germany. Um, yeah, but I think with NATO, a lot is going to be shifting. You know, we'll be going to Poland and other places. Just Germany won't be the big one. So I am seeing things like that. I'm looking to see. Someone made a comment, and I'm just not seeing it. But it says that there's a comment. I don't know. I think Tommy. I think he was in Germany as well. I do know he lived in Saudi Arabia too. Yeah, I have interviewed Tommy about his service, and yeah, he was in Germany. In fact, if I recall correctly, he was Artie. We need to get him doing more stuff. I've been talking to him. He grows his own medicine there in Los Angeles, and I'm trying to talk him into just doing a veteran show if he wants to use the platform or do his own, just about growing your own marijuana. Because there's it's getting to be a much more accepted thing. I keep saying that Trump, he needs to come out and say he'll legalize marijuana. I've got no problem with it. Most people do not have a problem with it. Will there be problems with it? Yes, and we've seen that here in California, but it's nowhere near like when other things have been legalized. Like we'll never come close to the amount of DUIs that we had in, what was it, 1933 when they repealed prohibition. We'll never, or was it 36? I don't remember, but we'll never come close to that amount of DUIs. Like people they went out and partied. But yeah, I don't think marijuana should be criminalized. Sorry, there's something on TV that I'm laughing at. I'm gonna put on some news. See if there's anything happening. I'm not watching the freaking Olympics. Forget that. The Olympics sucks. It sucks a fat one. Sorry if you like the Olympics, but no. Not for me. There. I put CNN on. So we'll see. It's a commercial right now. We'll see what's going on. They're probably going to be trying to keep pushing Kamala like she's this savior. And all of this, they're just oversampling Democrats in these polls. It's just funny to watch. It's like, it's so AstroTurf. Like, going viral yesterday were these videos of all these former MAGA people saying they're now going to vote for Harris. It's like, you were never going to vote for Trump. Stop it. You're ridiculous. It's, oh my God, they just do it. It's like, we can see through this. And the people panicking and freaking out about it are not the MAGA people either. It's just the people, the Kamala, or not Kamala, but Haley and DeSantis supporters being like, see, and they're just mad that their candidate didn't get taken. It's pretty pathetic. It's it's Lincoln Project people, those pedos. I'll never, all these people with the Lincoln Project, trying to push. It's like, no, you guys are pedos. So, anything else? Anything else you guys want to talk about? I I am liking the new format of the way I've got things set up here. You know, I am liking it. Um, I'm gonna play around with some stuff a little bit more. Got to run. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking off here pretty soon as well. We've been streaming for like an hour and a half. Got some good people in here. Make sure you're subscribing. You know, I like having you guys as subscribers. Like, even if you can't watch the live, they stay up, so you can put comments and questions to me, and I can, make sure I'm addressing them later. And if it's something that I think that other people will benefit from, I normally do a separate video, or I'll do a YouTube short or something like that, just to make sure I'm answering your questions and getting to this stuff. I gotta do some sculpting. This thing it's getting long, but yeah, I gotta get it sculpted a little bit. I'll probably do that on Monday. Here, all the places that will do that are going to be packed today and tomorrow, with all the Marines getting their fresh haircuts for Monday morning. So if I go Monday evening, I'll be able to get this taken care of. I'm gonna still keep it growing. I want to eventually try to get to where I can, put it in a thing here. Just something new I'm trying. Fun stuff. Maybe I'll go to the museum today. I've been wanting to go to the museum, and I've just been kind of putting it off. Maybe I'll do that next weekend. I don't know. You guys are getting, this is my stream of consciousness. That's what Coffee with the Skipper. My coffee is all gone. Well, it's not all gone. It's just cold, and I don't drink cold coffee. Sorry. I know some of you do. Forget that. I like my coffee strong and hot. Same way I like my women. Dooch. Not ground up and in the freezer. I love that shirt. I like my coffee the way I like my women. Ground up and in the freezer. That was right up there with you can't spell manslaughter without laughter. Harris campaign kicks off. Weekend of action. Ugh. That's all I gotta say about that. Ugh. Oh my god. Her campaign is so much cringe already. Now, I know she didn't have people in place, but okay. So her phone call with Michelle Obama getting endorsed, and she had a microphone here. So that was the first indicator that it was completely and totally staged. She had a microphone on, so everyone could hear really well. But then she's got her phone on speaker up to her ear, and you can see it. You can see I'm watching the Twitter stream on here just so I can monitor my analytics. But yeah, you're on speaker. Who puts their speaker phone up to their ear? It's like they think that they're smarter than everybody, and it's like, no, you guys are just dumb and cringe. And with all these polls, it's going to be 2 weeks, and they do this because they think, oh, if we do a poll, it shows she's popular, people are going to jump on. And there is some to that. There is some things to that. But she did get a bounce. She got a 2 to 3 point bounce. Narrowed the lead a little bit, but bounces go away. They come up and they come down. So in 2 weeks, yeah, it's going to go away. For those of you who watched my Disney stream, Yeah, I did buy some Disney stock. It did go up a little bit, but I fully expect next week when the whole thing with Deadpool, when it comes out that Deadpool is a massive success, and it is a massive success. In fact, let me check Box Office Mojo and see if they have the early reports, because I went to the theaters. They had multiple theaters showing Deadpool. You know, and there were people there. It's coming up. It's just taking a while. This is eating up all my bandwidth. That's okay. Let me close down the stream on my phone and see if that fixes it. But yeah, so Disney's gonna get a bump. I bought it. It's still gonna go bigger, but once it does, I'm gonna sell. Do they have? So they are not showing Deadpool and Logan on here yet, or Deadpool and Wolverine. Sorry. So they don't have. Let me see if there's any early numbers. I'm just looking through the news. Sorry if this is okay. Deadpool and Wolverine heads for smashing 195 million to 205 million opening after a massive 96 million Friday. So yeah, it probably gained. It probably did 30 or 40 million Thursday night, 96 million on Friday. It's going to have a massive day today. It's going to have a massive day on Sunday. So yeah, it'll probably get easily. I would say it'll probably be at the upper echelon of that, 205 million. There'll be a drop off next weekend, but I don't expect it to be a huge drop off. Yeah, their pre-opening projections were 160 to 175 million, and I told you this was going to be a massive success. It's a send-off of the Fox universe. So yeah, I would not be surprised if this thing will probably, depending on the fall off, we'll know after next weekend, it'll probably get close to $1 billion. And again, that's the first Disney movie really getting that in a long time. So look for Disney stock to jump. It will jump up, and that's when you should sell. When it jumps up, sell, take your money, run, because this is their only major hit that they're going to have this year that I can foresee. They might have like minor hits, but this is the only one that's going to be massive. My cat had to go outside. I have to watch her because my neighbor put poison in his compost to kill the mice he has going into his house, and I don't want her going over there. Yeah, I have problems of, we get the desert rats. They try to come in here. I've got 2 cats here that are hunters, so yeah, I don't like putting poison out. But I think we're now to the point where they can smell the cats, so I don't think they want to come inside. I've only been seeing, I haven't been here a full year yet, but I've only been seeing lizards outside. Lizards are not going to really be scared away by the cats, but the rats would. So the rats seem to have gone. And they're just looking, they come around out here in the desert. They come around all the houses just looking for water. That's the big thing that they're looking for. And they have the ability, these desert rats have the ability to pull moisture out of the air. They don't even have to drink it to get it. It's something with their whiskers. They can pull moisture out of the air because there's so very little. They've evolved to that. So, pretty cool. We've been infested with mice in our ceiling last year because of his compost. I'd get the cat up there. I'd put the cat up in your attic if you can. Because I believe it was Chicago was getting overran with rats and mice, and they started grabbing feral cats, and instead of euthanizing them, they were sterilizing them, but then putting like these boxes for the cats to kind of chill out in during the day. And like people were like, in just a matter of months, those vermin went away. Too small for her. There might be some options. I will say this: throw some Irish Spring up there. They hate the smell of that. Um, like put that up there. There was something that someone else told me. I want to say like vinegar and mothballs. I forget what it was, but there was a couple natural things that you just make it to where they don't really want to be there. Also, getting like very thin mesh and putting that over any holes or anything stops them from. They won't, even though they can chew through it. They prefer not to. Did that? It's up there now. Okay, there you go. So you're working on it. Yeah, it's not fun. My last place that I rented before I moved in there had been an infestation. I didn't have to worry about one, but yeah, there had been one, and they had chewed through some of the electrical wires, so I had electrical issues, and yeah, some got fixed, not all of them, and that's why my landlord was like, "Look, I have to raise your rent because there's so many people contacting me to stay here or to rent. There's a housing shortage." When he told me how much he was raising my rent to, I was like, "No, I'm not doing that. It's cheaper for me to own." And even though the rent that I was paying was cheaper than me owning this, it's still less than what I was going to be paying. We plugged the holes in the garage where they were coming into the house. Yeah, that's the first thing. You got to isolate, put some traps. There are the traps that they go into and then don't get to come out of. Those are good. Yeah. But I've been pretty fortunate. Not a lot of stuff here. We just had, like when I first moved in, and I expected that because there had been an infestation here. They cleaned up some of the stuff. I was like, but as soon as there's activity here, they're going to come back. And sure enough, they came. Like, I had, like, my cat caught one. I brought in the pest control guy. He caught another 2 others. Hadn't seen anything for a while. Then we caught one more. But it's been months since I've seen anything. And you will see this, like, you'll see them, like, as the seasons change because they want to come inside when it starts getting hot, super hot or super cold. And that's all it was. Those don't work well. We tried them and they chewed their way out. Have you tried the ones for rats? Because the ones they make for mice are kind of weak. The ones they make for rats are a little bit more heavy duty. But yeah, totally understand where you're coming from with the poison. I'm trying to think what some of the other things are. There's things you can do, but I mean, being vigilant on it is the biggest thing. You'll eventually get them all out. Just don't get complacent with it. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I've hit the time that I kind of wanted to. I said an hour and a half, and we're at an hour and 28, and I still got to wrap things up. So make sure you go to VeteraNationFoundation.com, buy some of our merch, support us, because a portion of everything that you buy comes back to us, and we use that money to help veterans and their families. And so please do that. Make sure you're following us on whatever social media. We've got Facebook group, we've got Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter or X. So make sure you're following us. Make sure you're sharing out our stuff because we want to make sure that we're helping people. And that's all the big stuff. I have nothing big that I'm promoting. Take a look in the description. I do have things you can support. Larry Bea, comedian, veteran who is fighting cancer right now. So please support him. We do have our petitions that we're doing. So please support us with that. And beyond that, as always, thank you for being worth serving.